So here we are with the 2016 F150 with the 5.0, and I am getting that service charging system. Now I tested my battery, it was a little low, so I replaced it. I was having issues with it last winter. That didn't do anything. I tested the alternator's putting out the proper voltage. Now, back in the day we were always told 14.6. These newer vehicles will go up to 15 volts, that's totally normal. So as long as you're 15 or lower, your alternator's good. Now I was getting no codes with this other than the dummy light on the dash. When I hooked up the OBD2, no codes. So most likely what I have is a ground out wire. Now there's 3 wires that run into the alternator. I'm going to show you where they go in now. Simple way to test for that is to do a continuity test essentially to each one of those wires to the frame. And if you get continuity, that's the wire that's ground out. And then you would need to splice into that and run a new wire to the pin on the BCM or wherever that goes. You have to find the pin out diagram to see where that particular wire would go. But I got lucky. I started fishing the harness because getting that connector off the back of the alternator without removing the alternator, I can't fit my hands down in there. So I started just doing a quick visual, and I think I found my problem, and maybe this will help you out. Maybe you'll have a similar issue. So let's take a look. Okay, so on the driver's side of the vehicle, down below there, you'll see your alternator. Now if we peek back this way, I already took off the battery cable to the alternator to allow better access to the harness. And then I also unplugged the sensor right next to it, right there, right above it there. Now if you see those 3 wires, the purple, red, and whatever that other color is, that's the harness that goes into the alternator that I'm referring to. We need to test each of those 3 wires. But again, I got lucky and I may not have to do that. So let me show you from underneath. So if you come over to the passenger side under the vehicle here and look up towards where like the battery is, take a look at all these harnesses and just start following them and look for any areas where you might see it rubbing against something. That's where your ground out wire is going to be. So when I started doing that, I came across this right here, right where my 2 transmission cooler lines run, right above there. Give me a second here. I found that right there. See if I can zoom in and get a clear picture. You see the green oxidation? And you can see that's supposed to be a harness cover that didn't do a very good job. And you can see where a wire rubbed through. So I'm going to, and it looks like those are our alternator wires. I see a purple and a red. So I'm going to go ahead and patch that up and we'll see if that takes care of my issue. Okay, so it is confirmed those are the alternator wires. And when I pull out on this, you can see that is cut completely through. This was a horrible design. The 3 wires running the alternator are outside of this wire loom, right up against that metal, and they're just electrical taped around. So that's where it rubbed through. So again, just going to splice above and below that to cut out that bad section. So wheeling under the vehicle from the front on the passenger side. So here we are again, it's the big harness and there's wire loom around it. I cut the wire loom away, and be careful when you do that because as you see they have the wires going all different directions, not just running straight one direction, so you don't want to slice through any of your wires. But that big loom that runs right across the front frame here, the front axle, and goes up towards the battery box, that's where these wires come from. And then right above the cooler lines there, you see the plastic guard, and you can see where I spliced in my new wire. I just cut out the bad section. Okay, so that did fix my problem. Simply a ground out wire. As soon as I got that all patched up, truck runs fine, all the lights went away. So if you're having this issue with your truck, by all means, test those 3 wires, check the harness, look for the ground out wire. Do not take it to the dealership. They're gonna throw a battery at it. They're gonna throw $1,000 into an alternator at it. Once they're done parts changing, eventually they're gonna find your problem. But you can easily do this on your own. This really isn't that difficult. So I really hope this video helped you out. If it did, hit it with a like or subscribe to the channel. Always more stuff coming. I've had this truck since brand new. It's a 2016 with 123,000 miles and it's starting to show its age. So as issues like this charging system malfunction pop up, I'll be doing videos and keeping you up to speed. So hopefully it'll be helping you work on your vehicle as well. As always, really appreciate your support. Thank you for watching. And then where that rub was, I'm going to take a rubber hose and slice it. Slice the rubber hose and put that up in there so it has a little protection, so it's not the harness against that metal but the harness against the little rubber hose. And I may even take a peek at maybe putting some zip strips in there to pull that harness away from that metal that it was rubbing up against. So you might want to take a look at that as well.